Any changes to the agenda? Not,
One item there for 11B. County engineer, chip seal, Ketro.
Any other changes? If no other changes, then I move that we make this modification for 11B and approve the agenda.
Second?
Roll call?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Caldwell, do you have minutes to approve?
Yes. We have the minutes of the regular meeting of May 6th, where Ms. Watson was absent.
I move that we approve those minutes and waive the reading of the minutes.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
And then we have the regular meeting, the minutes of the regular meeting of May 19th, where Mr. Kraft was absent.
I move that we approve those minutes and waive reading of the minutes.
A second?
Roll call?
Mr. Kraft?
Abstain.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Caldwell, do you have a fiscal officer report and approval of the warrants?
We have the warrants for your pending warrant report. They're warrants 46618 through 46652 and 96078 through 96088.
I move that we approve the warrants.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
That's all I have for now.
Okay, we've got a number of people here for public comments. I would like to mention that we do have the Kyle Road Shrek agreement under new business, and those of you that have comments specifically to that, I'm going to open it up for comments when we get to that part of the meeting. So if you want to just, I'm going to call your name if that's what you want to comment on, if you don't mind waiting till we get to that part of the meeting, please. First person on the list is Julie Power. Would you come forward and state your name and address, please? We're going to limit comments to 3 minutes, please.
Hi, my name is Julie Power. My address is 804 Hodel Road, Glenshaw, Pennsylvania, 15116. I am here tonight representing Ethos Cannabis. I serve as the Vice President of Retail with Ethos, and we are here this evening to request that the town consider allowing us to open a dispensary in Jerome. Ethos is a multi-state, vertically integrated cannabis operator operating in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts. We have 3 cultivation facilities, 1 in each of those states, and 13 retail locations currently. In Ohio, our cultivation facility is in Meigs County, the southern part of the state, and our two existing dispensaries are in Lebanon, Ohio, and New Lexington. I want to just highlight a couple quick things about the Ohio cannabis program, which is highly regulated. Licensed dispensaries in Ohio operate under extensive state oversight. The locations where we can set up shop are limited to sitting outside buffer zones around sensitive uses like schools, churches, daycares, things like that. Every product that is sold through the Ohio Cannabis Program is tested, tracked, and regulated from cultivation, from when it's a little tiny seed, through packaged and sailed into consumers' hands. All of the dispensaries within the program are monitored by state regulators and subject to strict compliance standards. And unlike illicit operators, which are in your communities, our dispensaries and all the dispensaries in the program like to create transparency and accountability. As the VP of Retail, I oversee our dispensary operations, and so I am accountable for ensuring that our stores meet the highest standards for compliance, customer experience, and operational excellence. One important thing that I wanted to highlight tonight is that towns in Ohio that allow cannabis dispensaries are able to tax the sale of the product at 3.6%, generating revenue to reinvest in important community programs and growth initiatives. Simply put, cannabis is already here in Jerome, but your residents are driving to Dublin and Columbus and other communities to purchase those products, and they're realizing the tax benefits that we're missing out on here in Jerome. So an average monthly revenue for a 5,000 square foot dispensary in the Columbus market is approximately $800,000 to $1 million a month. So that, based on that proposed local tax rate of 3.6%, could lead to about $400,000 a month in local annual sales tax revenue. Sorry, $400,000 in annual sales tax revenue for Jerome. Just wanted to say about Ethos, we want to be long-term partners here with you guys. We understand decisions like this deserve careful consideration. We're committed to operating transparently, being responsive to community concerns, and building a relationship of trust with the township leaders and residents. I did bring with me two other folks who are going to speak very quickly. Dr. Brooke Worcester, who is she's an oncologist with the Thomas Jefferson Hospital System in Philadelphia. She's also serves as our chief medical officer. And then I have Kevin Bradley with me, who's our director of new business development. So each of them is going to touch on just a couple things as well. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all tonight.
Perfect, thank you. Good time. Next on my list is Brooke Worcester. If you could state your name and address.
Happy to. Hi, my name is Brooke Worcester. My address is 2147 Bainbridge Street, Philadelphia, PA. And I am a practicing oncologist and researcher and have the pleasure of being affiliated with Ethos as their chief medical officer. And I've worked with them for the past 6 years. In the state of Pennsylvania, we have an opportunity to do collaborative research, and Ethos is an incredible partner in that space. We've done really beneficial research looking at local areas in Pennsylvania, in Massachusetts, and I welcome the opportunity to bring it to Ohio. And what we've seen is that 4 out of 10 of your neighbors that are struggling with cancer or in cancer survivorship are interested or using cannabis. 5 out of 10 of your neighbors that are 65 and older are interested or are using cannabis for pain relief, for sleep, for anxiety. And the opportunity to bring it local to benefit those that are struggling with mobility, that have difficulty getting further away in a regulated, responsible collaborator that also wants to invest in understanding more about and educating the town, I think is a wonderful opportunity. I also know that cannabis is not a panacea. It's not going to fix everything. It's certainly not going to be the only thing that people are taking, but it's a helpful tool in the toolbox. And I think that the opportunity to sort of welcome it into your neighborhood brings some relief to some of your most vulnerable community, as well as the opportunity to educate and be able to enable people to get it in a safe, controlled, regulated space that is an interested partner in doing both research and education. And I welcome any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on my list is Kevin Bradley. Please come forward, state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Bradley. My address is 20 Alden Road, Peabody, Massachusetts. I am the Director of New Business Development for Ethos Cannabis. My role focuses on identifying opportunities where we can responsibly invest in community, create jobs, and contribute positively to the local economic development. Talking a little bit about what a dispensary means to a community. The places that we open, we provide job opportunities, job growth, and when you talk about when customers come into these locations, these are very secure facilities, very professional, very organized, and I think when you come in, we have ID checks at the door. Once you get in there, you're checking that ID again. We're making sure that we're following all the state regulations and finding ways to help people live a better life through informed use of cannabis. And as Brooke and Julie said, that is our big focus as a cannabis company, is making sure that we educate people on this product that there's a lot of unknowns on. The general time somebody spends in the dispensary is around 5 minutes. We see that spread throughout the day, so we don't see major traffic backups. The model is very similar to a bank or even less than a regular retail, but what we try and do beyond just serving customers and educating people is really be great partners in our community and all the locations that we currently have. One of the most important aspects of that we focus on is we have an Ethos Cares arm, where Ethos Cares is a program where we find local initiatives in ways that we can partner with our local community and give back. We think it's an important part of what we do and part of our core mission, and it's something we've been successful at in all the markets that we currently operate in. I think I've been with this company for over 6 years now. It's been a great opportunity for me. I've grown and been able to raise my 3 kids in this company, and I think that's what we want to do as we continue to grow, is provide great opportunities and be great partners in all the communities that we serve. And thank you all for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on my list, I've got David Morris.
My comment was related more to the agreement, development agreement with Township.
Okay, we'll call you later. Okay. Next on my list is Linda Chapman. Please state your name and address.
Good evening, Linda Chapman, 8343 McKittrick Road, Plain City. I'm here to talk about data center zoning. Since the state of Ohio is in discussion regarding data centers, I'd like to think that we're not done with our work here regarding data center zoning. In fact, I'd like to address and question how it happened that when the amendment ZT 25-002 was put in place, initially presented to the Zoning Commission, sub-areas 1C, 2A, and 2B of the IPD were, along with the other areas in that IPD, were permitted, and then when it was submitted to the Zoning Commission, it was all changed to conditional. And it made it through the first trustee hearing, and then the final trustee hearing, where the public comment was closed to further comments. Somehow, and I'd kind of like to know how, but where the sub areas were once conditional, all of a sudden were changed back to permitted. So can anybody explain that to me and how that happened? I mean, it kind of just slipped by the public, I think, because it went from Zoning Commission to the first couple hearings here as it was going to be conditional in those areas, and then on the final iteration it was changed to permitted in 3 areas owned by the same developer. So how did that come about? What reasoning? Was that an accident? Do you know what I'm talking about? On page 52A, the appendix, where it lists data center use, and there's all the sub areas in the IPD, and they were all permitted before the amendment came about. When it was presented to the Zoning Commission, they were all conditional. And then it was conditional at the first, it passed the Zoning Commission. When at the first township meeting, it was still conditional. And then on the final, those 3 sub areas were changed back to permitted. Just those 3 areas, not the other ones to the outside.
Why are you guys looking at each other? Just tell me I'm outside.
I guess I can discuss that with you after the meeting.
Okay, all right, so if that's the case, then
It's like it's public.
I'd like,
Public. Sorry.
You have a chance to make your public comments.
Uh,
We're listening to comments.
okay,
No
so
discussion.
to be consistent and fair, those areas should be changed back to conditional, in my opinion. What are the steps the people you serve need to take to revise that amendment to make those areas conditional, as it seemed was promised to the public, that all areas of data center use would be conditional?
Thank you. Next up is Tara Kinselman. You got Shred down here, so do you want to lay
Yeah, but I'm still gonna speak. Hi, my name's Tara Prinzelman, 9317 Brock Road, Plain City, Ohio, 43064. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. I second everything Linda said tonight. As a matter of fact, I'm completely taken aback, and I think that we all deserve to know. I mean, you guys are up there because we voted you up there, right? You guys all know that. So that's really important. But I'm also up here to speak because I didn't know that a cannabis company was coming tonight. And I stood up here a decade ago in 2016 with Barry Adler at this trustee meeting when Ohio's legislative group passed medical cannabis in the state of Ohio. I stood up here and I explained, just like these people did, the benefits that can come from it. Joe, as I know, as a pharmacist locally, you know how the need to have what you need locally is very important. I know that we put a moratorium on a decade ago indefinitely. It has never come off. I know that it came back in front of this group of trustees, not you, Andrea. Last year, was it, Barry? Right, and I apologize, I missed it. And it wasn't even made for consideration to the Jerome Township zoning to consider. Just so you know, there's an indefinite moratorium in Jerome Township on cannabis. And it just seems like a decade later, we should be reconsidering these kind of things. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. I'd be more than happy to provide any additional information therapeutically, because regardless of why a human being consumes, there are therapeutic benefits, and it is regulated, highly, highly regulated in the state of Ohio. We even have like THC percentages, like most states don't. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next on my list is Greg Jasinski, I think.
Yep.
Sorry if I mispronounced that.
No, you're good. Good evening. My name's Greg Jasinski. I live on 10270 Carmel Drive here in Plain City. So this is a new opportunity for me to speak my voice, but I wanted to, I really have a couple different questions, but the most concerning point is this disaster here on Route 42 and Industrial Parkway. So I'm not real sure if the members that are attending tonight are aware of the recent situation, but ultimately it is on a complete hold, and the contractors pulled out completely because we can't get the simple utility poles moved out of the way. So if anybody has actually driven through there and have seen that last fall, the contractor was so fed up that we're just going to pave right around the poles because simple utility companies cannot come together and complete this project. So I've personally spoke to the township. I've spoke to PUCO, the public utilities. I spoke to Union Royal Cooperative. I actually called the Attorney General's office, and finally ODOT. So the information that I was able to gather from the township, they just received the letter from ODOT stating that the contractor is pulled out. And to me, it's just baffling. So fortunately, I was able to speak to somebody, the project manager at ODOT, which is completely embarrassing to me that this has been mismanaged. A year ago, they were told to remove the poles. A year ago, April. How in the world does it get to this position where we have the situation? Again, they moved one set of poles, which backed up to my property, by the way, took my property, by the way, and now we actually have poles that a kid or somebody could veer off and hit them, and nobody seems to care. We're doing nothing about it. And ODOT could not give me an answer, and all they've informed me is that this is going to go to the Attorney General's office. So my question is, what are we doing to escalate it? And I don't know the ability of the board on how they could escalate it, but I don't know how much more I could escalate it. That's why I'm here tonight. But I'm going to call the Attorney General's office again, or I'll call ODOT. But this is a small project, a minor project in the scope of ODOT. And I cannot, but we have been screwing around with this for 2 years. And it's unacceptable to me. So that was my main objective or concern. And I also want to know if we have any information on what's happening right up the street off of 42, where we have now another, I'm assuming maybe a strip plaza or some sort going in, if anybody has information on that, because I have not seen anything on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Stanley?
Yeah, so we echo the frustrations of everyone. Myself, Trustee Adler, we personally reached out to ODOT and expressed our frustrations. It's absolutely unacceptable in every stretch of the imagination. We don't understand why we got the same information you did. We've been closely associated with this ever since it started up here more serious and with earnest. They told us 18 months ago that they had lined up all the utility companies. We reminded them, I reminded them of that they told us the utility companies were all lined up, ready to go, that that's why they were prepared to start the work. When we reached back out, we offered to publicly come back out. We wanted the names of the companies that were holding it up. My understanding, I believe one is Frontier Fiber. I'm not sure the other one off the top of my head. We were told, I'm sorry?
I think it was Spectrum.
Yeah,
Was Frontier on there, Barry?
I think so.
I thought so. So I can verify that. But we offered that we would jointly do something publicly about it. We also asked that there be consideration that they be fined $10,000 a day. My understanding is the county engineer, the ODOT office replied back that there are certain restrictions on that type of penalty assessment and who has the authority to assess it. Quite frankly, we don't care. We believe that it should be assessed on a day-to-day basis per company, per day, if not more than that. To your point, that's an ODOT issue up here as to why on earth they allow pavement to go around telephone poles. I've never seen anything like it in my life. We're extremely frustrated. We have voiced multiple times that how dangerous it is. But I will back up though even longer than that briefly, that over 2 years ago, we were caught entirely off guard when they changed the signals up here. No one told us. We had asked for additional signaling when all of this was going on, when they were leading up to construction. We had no idea that they had put the signals up. All of a sudden we have traffic backed all the way back here, past Brock Road, because no one knew. It took us at least another 2 to 3 months to get the turn arrows at it. I was begging for turn arrows. And finally, after constant phone calls, they finally got the turn arrows at least more satisfactory and safer. We had the turn arrows working some days and then not working. We couldn't figure out what was going on. They finally sorted all of that out for us. And I'm grateful for what they're doing up here. But the case in point is that once it's been turned over to the Ohio Attorney General's office, which it is, I am being told one of the companies is now either cooperating this week or maybe next, I'm told. But the other one I don't know the status of. And it's still not good enough. They need to be penalized. I don't know what the process is, but they should be fined $10,000 minimum per day until this is moving forward. That's what I've asked for. I don't think it's
We've
good.
been basically told by ODOT to back off.
Yes.
The Attorney General to handle this. We have no authority.
They wanted a singular voice moving forward. I understand that, but we're left. Everybody's left that drives this every day. You're left with the circumstances and pending unknowns. That's where the frustration. And to your point, you live there. You look at it every day, it's extremely serious. And so we have escalated it. We're going to continue to escalate it. And other than that, I don't know what else to add towards it. It's been very, very frustrating. Very frustrating, especially since we were promised the project was going to be done. Now that timeline's probably going to move again.
Thank you for your comments. We've got to move on here.
But can I just quickly answer the second half of this question? You asked what the development there is. It's a daycare center. If you get a hold of me here at the Township Hall, I'll be happy to share the plans. We went through the zoning commission several months ago.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's located across from Curry Farm.
That's correct, sir.
Yeah, that was
Jackson Bank.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, the next person on the public comment sign-up sheet is Michael Scadron. If I'm reading that correctly, please state your name, address.
My name is Michael Scadron, 8837 Clinton Street, Plymouth, Michigan. I am also with Ethos, and I just put a little space between Kevin and myself in case there were any questions that were arisen. I don't think you guys seem to have any just yet, so I really just wanted to thank you guys for your time, thank the community. We're happy to answer any questions any of you guys have, so feel free to reach out. We can leave some cards back here if you'd like. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next on our agenda is a public safety officer. If you'd like to come up, state your name.
Well, hello. I'll put myself up here. I'm Connor Swain. I'm one of the 4 deputies from the sheriff's office that are assigned down here to the township. The sheriff is planning on attending. He was coming from the Paris Township meeting this evening as well. I was asked to field any complaints that we might have or note any concerns that we could potentially address if there's any that we had prepared or we should be aware of.
Oh, and there he is.
Good time. Good time. Very good time. Well,
I don't like this.
Everybody was talking about you.
I'd like to mention that I think that you're already aware that we've had concerns expressed on Converse about speeding, and I think a sign went up there. I'm not sure if the sheriff's office did that or the county engineers put that up there to a sign showing what the speed limit is there, and also that there was an issue this past weekend on Industrial Parkway, which I think we tried to address with an event at the fresh meat market. So if you want to comment any of that, and we do appreciate what you're doing out there to police our roads and to try to keep the speeders down.
Yeah, absolutely. On the Converse Road, we have a list of traffic complaints that we assign out to different deputies. So that one has been assigned to 4 PSOs down here. We're hoping to make it done and address that issue as soon as we can. As far as the
So as far as the other one,
Yeah.
Connor's probably not familiar with that one, but I stopped down at the
For those of you that
business.
don't know, this is our sheriff, Mike Justice.
Sorry, I guess I should have.
Because we have new people in the audience.
So I stopped down at business, but it was closed and I couldn't talk to him until I left the business card, but we'll be following up on that to make sure that we don't, hopefully, have that same issue as the pictures that I seen from this past weekend. So,
At the meat location.
the meat location? Yeah. Yeah, they're across from Cottage
Yes,
Road.
thank you.
So, did you have
Sure.
anything that you want?
I do have one additional. Before you got here, we were talking about a concern voiced about the construction up here being stalled and all that. We should probably work closely together when ODOT does tell us about the cones going back up in the barrels, because that's my bigger concern, is now we've opened the road and now we're gonna close it. And we're gonna open it and now we're gonna close it. I just have this big concern because of how it started, where we had some close calls right here actually, at our driveway, when they had it down to the 1 lane, 1 way. I don't know when they're gonna start this back up again, but it's probably gonna be a little bit of a PR, or a public relations information sharing. I don't know if they're just gonna randomly show up, start putting barrels back out. I don't know.
I would hope they do not do that. We've got a pretty good open line of communication right now with ODOT, which is a blessing. So I'll reach out to Anthony regarding when they do start that. We'd like to have at least a week's heads up so we can advertise it.
We've been communicating with them too.
But that will also allow us to make sure our deputies, especially the PSOs, are down here to stop that. And I can be honest with you, with detours, what I told our staff is those that want to go around the detours, for fact they're more important than anybody else, we're going to give them a souvenir for doing that. And it's my intention to give everybody one that we have to, so we can curb that problem before anybody's hurt.
Yep, we appreciate that.
Was there anything additional? If not, I can give you a quick update from the office side, if you like.
Appreciate it.
I'd just like to mention, we have a lot of heavy-duty trucks coming down Kyle Road. Dump trucks going down to the stomachers, and it's supposed to be no through trucks, and we're still getting a bunch of stuff coming through. It's better.
Well, I can tell you that we've had our PSOs down there and we keep track of those times. When we are there, the trucks are not going through there.
Okay.
So we are giving it every attempt as possible, but we just can't afford something if we don't see that in our press. But we are definitely down there and we are keeping track of that, so.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
give us a call, we can slip out there, because I know our guys are there and trying to keep track, and we're logging every time we're out there, so at least if someone say, we're not doing nothing, we can at least say, we've accepted, this is where we've been, and how often, so, yeah, just give us a call, that's.
They'll get on the plane where it's maybe 2 minutes. Just
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I didn't know if there was something else. We have one women's firearm spots available still for this Saturday and one for July 11th. The rest of them will be in the fall. Reminder, June 20th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. will be our first Cops and Bobbers event. That's be at our range. They're by the recycling center on 36. And for those 2-hour blocks, those two 2-hour blocks, be free fishing for the kids. And we'll be giving fishing poles out for those that have the largest fish by age group. I know we put some perch in our pond, probably about 14 inches long. Barry Moffett that raises the fish out on Springdale Road dumped a few of those in there. Some large bluegills, and we got, I think, at least some 3-4 pound bass that were added to the pond also this week. So Barry helped us out a lot as far as the fish. So those are June 20th. Our dispatch positions, we gave 4 conditional offers for hire this past week. The 4 dispatch positions were one due to retirement. 2 of them were dispatchers that were cut out of our staffing levels in 2023, and then there was one that we needed filled. So there's 4 of those. As long as they pass their backgrounds, they will begin working. As far as sworn personnel, we have a gentleman from Columbus, Georgia that's taking his state test up here next week. As long as he passes, he's going to return to Columbus, Georgia, turn in his 2-week notice and come back to us. We have 1 graduating from State Patrol Academy on July 2nd. We have 3 in field training right now and another one in the background process. When one of the FTOs come out, one of the ones in training right now, we're looking at putting a full-time traffic officer on for the county, and that'd be towards the end of August. Right now, Ben Smith, who's our SRO for Dublin, his summer activities is nothing but traffic enforcement. So we're trying to use the school resource officers in different positions at the office for where we need them the most. We have a second speed trailer. Our speed trailers will identify the day of the week and time of the day and the speeds, so we can be more efficient when we're actually enforcing our traffic. So we're going to be using that more this summer. And then September 25th is our Sheriff's Office golf outing at Darby Creek. So the flyer for that I'll be bringing Thursday to the township meeting. I don't know if you guys be attending that, but I'll have some flyers there for the golf outing for that day too. So, anything else that you guys have questions about, concerns? Anything we could do? Anything we could do better for you guys?
We should start discussions on the PSO levy, really.
Oh.
So when it comes time for that, I know I just met with Mill Creek yesterday. They signed an overtime contract, or they're interested in an overtime contract, so we're working with them on that. But something that, going through and looking for different grants and stuff, when we start talking about the PSO levy, if you guys are looking at potentially adding people down here for the township, we might want to consider having our office apply for a COPS grant. So that way, that initial cost will be a little bit of a relief from the public as far as tax paying, because the COPS grant's still there. I thought it went away. I hadn't heard nothing about it for years. But the COPS grant's still available for new positions. So if you guys are looking to expand that through conversations, that might be an avenue that I think you guys should consider is what grant can we get for that? Normally run for about a 3-year period, but you got to agree to pay for that full salary at the end of the 3 years, but that could save a lot of money there. So,
Quick
food
question
for
about
thought.
PSO, Robert, could you clarify, is Mill Creek going to try to put that on their ballot, and do we have to be at the same time as Mill Creek since we're sharing this position?
We don't have to be. So the first opportunity to put it on the ballot for renewal would be November of this year. But it does not run out, the collections do not run out until 2027 is the final year of collections. So you would have November of this year, May of next year, and November of next year, and not risk losing any revenue. So there's those opportunities. I believe the indication was from Mill Creek was they were gonna put it on the November ballot.
That's my understanding that they plan on renewing that. You know, I know that we have our 9/1 levy coming up this year, but I'm leaning towards maybe letting that expire and doing it the following year, so that way they're not taxed. County residents aren't taxed twice. And I gotta have conversations. We're doing research now that maybe a sales tax would be more appropriate than a property tax, but I'm hoping that we can look at that for some relief for the taxpayers also in the county.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for your service and be safe out there. Thank you. Okay. Moving along, Mr. Stanley, would you like to start with the administrator report, please?
Yes, sure. So we received, our office manager, Debbie Bollinger, officially provided us notice that she is intending to retire after 28 years of loyal service to the township, which is quite amazing. Debbie been a loyal part of the team here and very, very good person. She's going to retire at the end of the year, so Mr. Caldwell and I will be researching deeper into the job description and so on, make sure that when we're ready to come back out and advertise for her job, that the board is fully aware of what we want that to look like. So we'll probably be putting together a open house for her at some point in early December. So stay tuned for that. The excavator work that has been pending now for several weeks for the front yard here and to address the swale grade over here at the road department building. Now that we've had some dry weather, they are supposed to come back at the end of this week. So hopefully you'll see some yard work smoothed out, and they'll come back and have to hydro that for the seeding. We're also we had a car show meeting today. We're in the final stretch here, tidying up some loose ends. Again, as a reminder, and I know Trustee Adler, you'll be saying this again under announcements, but it's Sunday, June 14th, 10 to 3, down on Estates Court, just off of Estates Parkway. Brutus, we just found out, will be joining us. Brutus Buckeye will be there from 12:30 to 1. It's a very short time frame, so if you want to see Brutus get some pictures, come on out for that. The Columbus Fury women's volleyball professional team, their mascot Lumi will be here. I think that mascot's going to be here for a couple hours. Lots of stuff for kids, families, food trucks, petting zoo, the Ohio Highway Patrol helicopters coming in, the sheriff, the sheriff's, I think he's bringing out his SWAT armored vehicle. We'll have some military vehicles as well, live band, lots of work gone into this, lots of sponsors, and it just keeps getting bigger and better every year, so we're excited about that. We hope everybody can attend. That ends my report, and I'll turn it over to Interim Chief French.
Good evening. Sorry I couldn't make the last meeting. My son was getting sworn in at Norwich Township as a firefighter and paramedic, so my apologies. The ladder truck we took delivery of back in April, so we've been having training going on at the company level and from the manufacturer. We are exploring the option of having some pretty intensive training from an outside agency, just looking to set our people for success. It's a pretty intricate piece of equipment. We want them well trained before we kind of turn it loose. So that brings us to a timeline for in-service. We anticipate the ladder will be in service for calls inside of Jerome and Mill Creek Township by September. Once we're comfortable with how we're running it and going with things, we'll probably open up to our mutual aid partners by November. We do have some equipment that we'll need to finish procuring and get mounted on the truck between now and then. New staff, most all the full and part-time employees that have been hired this spring are on company and working. Some of them have almost finished orientation, so that's helped staffing at both stations. It's helped limit the number of days that Station 210 is cross-staffed, which has helped tremendously. I would like to have a recommendation tonight to hire Kate Carter. He will be the last position for a part-time firefighter we need to fill. We received new auto extrication tools. The training is complete. Those tools are in service. I'll need to work with Mr. Caldwell at some point to work on a resolution to adopt the 2025 fire code. So after nearly 7-8 years, the new fire code is finally out. So the 2025 fire code's out in 2026. So. Touch a truck. We had to cancel that in May because the weather was so nasty that day. We're exploring dates on the Metro Park to get that rescheduled and try to get another event. We've had a lot of requests and a lot of interest in that event, so we're going to work hard to get that done. I provided you with statistics. I think it's...
You're going to have touch a truck also at the 20th.
We're going to...
Is that correct? Are you going to do touch a truck at the car show?
We'll be at the car show. Yeah, the ladder truck, the UTV, we'll have plenty of equipment at the car show. We're just going to look for something later in the summer to try to get back out there.
Thank you.
I provided you with statistics on page 2 and 3. May was a busy month with 158 calls. So it's a little bit above. We started the year a little bit slower, I think. But May was pretty busy. Probably the coolest thing to see in May is they logged over 900 hours of fire training. So they're getting some use out of that new ladder truck. And that is all I have for you, unless you all have any questions.
Yeah, we need to make a motion to hire Kate Carter as a new full-time, part-time firefighter.
A second.
Roll call.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Any questions? Thank you, guys.
You'll see the road department report in your packets. We did get the new Buckeye tree planted back here in the park. Continue to look at potential public-private partnerships to redo the baseball field. It's a project that's in motion. A lot of work to be done on that yet. Not likely going to see a lot happen this year on it. It'll probably head into spring of next year. And then you'll see a lot of mowing as well, just trying to keep up after the rains. And then I'll turn it over to Mr. Snowden if you have anything for zoning.
Thank you, Brandon. Trustees, our office sent out the statistics for last month. Those should be in your inbox. If you ever want a copy of that, please let me know. Second of all, we provided copies of the updated zoning resolution. So please discard any other copies to make sure that we're looking for the right version. I have a detailed record of those going back to the 50s, so please don't feel like you have to hold on to extra copies of old resolutions. Andrea got her first official copy, so congratulations to you. You know, it's a busy time of year for us. I've gotten to work with Chief French and his team at Fire Prevention on some interesting but important stuff that we're coordinating along with the building department, enforcement, education of some of the folks. We have one gentleman who's had many junk cars for many, many years that's surrounding his business. We're working with them, educating them, and they've been great. So just want to report in how the relationship continues to be one of very positive. So I'd be happy to answer anything.
I have no question.
That is my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
old business, we've got the Ohio Department of Liquor Control notice. Mr. Snowden, do you have that, or is that Mr.?
Robert has that.
Yeah. So at our last meeting, I presented to you notification from the Ohio Department of Commerce, Division of Liquor Control, application for a liquor permit for Penn High Columbus LLC, located at 8350 to 8360 Warner Road. Eric provided some additional information of the, actually this business isn't there yet. I think they're in the zoning process.
They are, and they'll be in the zoning process at least till July now due to some mistakes on their part. The board discussed this with Sheriff. Sheriff helped educate us on some of the things that he does whenever we get these liquor notifications, which was useful to me. I hope it was useful to the board. Since that time, I talked with Robert and Mr. Stanley, and the hope is with these these notifications, we'll work with Mr. Stanley to reach out to Sheriff before they come before the board in the future, just so the board can know that he's following his normal process, or if he wants to recommend an objection.
And this, notification is merely asking if you want to have a hearing in regards to this application. If you want to request a hearing.
If you did that, there would have to be a resolution drafted by legal counsel or the prosecuting attorney's office, and there's a very specific. Brandon talked about it to me at length. I really should be turning it over to Brandon.
It's
He's
standard.
done. Yeah.
This is all standard. Anytime a liquor license gets issued, it's standard. And unless you would really have some sincere interest in bringing folks together for a hearing, most of the time, if they've legally filed for the permit, then really what this is saying is if you have some other community reason to have a hearing, then do it. But 9 times out of 10, most communities just pretty much carte blanche and go on. As time goes on then, and these get renewed, let's say there's multiple violations that the sheriff's office has been reported, or maybe it's underage serving or something. Well, then we'll be notified of that. That's why we communicate with the sheriff's office. And then at that point, maybe then the board says, no, we would like to have a hearing and file for this to be reviewed. And you would have to collect all the information at that point, basically present a case to maybe oppose a liquor license from being renewed. There's a whole nother section of law about liquor control, obviously, but this is just pretty much business as usual.
So what I remember in the past, we waived the hearing.
Right, is there any issue of waiving the hearing before the zoning is actually approved?
Correct. They're two independent. I know it seems a little weird, but they're independent regulatory processes. So you can either take no action or you can waive the hearing, which the effect would be the same. One final note is, Sheriff, correct me if I'm wrong, but you would also, if you had concerns, you could also tell the commissioners or provide them with notice to object to this as well.
Correct.
So, unlike the city where Brandon and I came from, there's 2 layers of protection upon the townships.
And I guess before we move to waive it, do we want to ask the sheriff? Sheriff Jessup, do you have any input on this? If we want to make a motion to waive this time?
Strictly up to you. I have no objection as far as the business. I found nothing derogatory that I would be concerned with.
Thank you.
You want to do this at our next meeting, Andrea, or what are you thinking?
I was just kind of like, wanted to know, but if he's already researched them and he feels comfortable with it, I feel more comfortable that way.
So I think what Eric said, we could take no action or waive the hearing, or we need to waive the hearing if we're not going to have a hearing.
So if you fail to return this, it's the same thing as saying that you're not requesting a hearing.
Some communities waive it automatically, some just do nothing, so it's just up to you.
So for the record, I think we ought to go ahead and waive it, and then Robert will put it in our minutes.
I move that we waive the public hearing for this liquor control.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda, we've got revision to I-4Q contract, transient vendor registration module. Mr. Snowden, would you like to present this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, other members of the board. You'll recall we did discuss this at your last meeting, but in the absence of Mr. Kraft, the board certainly reasonably elected not to take any action. This is iWork Systems is the township's vendor for permitting software. There's also a public works module which Vince uses for work orders and keeping track of pavement and other things. Last year, the Township Trustees, in response to complaints from residents, enacted a resolution requiring transient vendors to register. It's commonly called solicitor's permit, but the terminology is transient vendor registration. In order to keep track of that, what's essentially a permit, I have to have the module to help keep track of them. We've had a couple, we're getting more, it's that time of year. Initially, they quoted me about $8,000 in additional fees. This is for the year, for zoning, for all other zoning and the right-of-way permitting module as well. But I was able to negotiate down the cost. This is set up in the future. What it says, entity management. That's the module we're discussing here. It also has a feature should the board in the future elect to have a do not knock registry. Right now, the procedure for residents to basically say, hey, I don't want somebody here to solicit is to put up a sign that says no soliciting. That would put somebody in violation of our resolution. However, in the future, as the community grows, there may be residents requesting to do a do not knock registry. The system is set up for that in the future. So again, this is an annual contract. There is a $800 setup fee, which I think is down at the bottom. That's a one-time cost to just get it set up. And Mr. Cole and I discussed some of the costs, and he didn't have any specific concerns. I don't know if that's changed. But again, just trying to be prepared. We've only got a handful of these so far, and they do have to pay a $50 permitting fee, so you're getting some of the money back to administer this. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Sorry, Mr. Adler, the motion would be for the board to accept the contract and authorize Mr. Stanley to sign it. It does need to be signed by a representative of the town.
Joe, since you weren't here, do you have any questions about it?
Is this just for the transient vendor?
No, what you're looking at there is actually the entire zoning module, permitting, and the right-of-way permitting module, which is actually really is kind of part of what the road department is doing, but it's feed right now to the zoning department. Robert and I have some other ideas to work with the vendor for 27 to kind of align that a little better. But this is actually for everything. This is for the zoning permitting module, the code enforcement module, the entity management, which is this registration, and right-of-way permitting, which we're doing a bunch of.
Okay.
And it's for the entire year. It's not the only one-time cost is the $800.
Okay. Barry, I'm okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Then I make a motion to approve the service agreement with Iowa Q and authorize Mr. Stanley to sign the contract. Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Snowden, did you make copies of this?
I did not, but I can if you would like me to. It would only take a moment.
Okay.
Would you like copies made?
Yeah, we're going to take a break, and those that would like copies for the next item on the agenda, the development agreement. Mr. Snowden,
Sure.
Make some copies now. We'll take about a 3-minute quick break here. get started again. My apologies, we meant to have copies available at the beginning of the meeting, but that didn't get coordinated. And I apologize for that. But I would like to take a few minutes to summarize and explain the proposed development agreement. Try to keep it to 3 minutes. After my comments, I'll open things for discussion for the trustees, and after that, I'll also open this part of the meeting to allow for public comments prior to any vote on any motion. The key points of the agreement include increased buffering, a new community authority, a 2-acre park, and donation of 4 acres of land. Increased buffering between the homes on Kyle Road and the development would include the mounding and buffering. It would result in an increased setback for houses closest to the existing neighborhood homes. There would be a 3-foot mound with type B buffering. The type B buffering will have at least 12 evergreens and 2 deciduous trees per 100 linear feet. The evergreens will be staggered. Type B buffering will maximize screening of new houses from existing homes. Furthermore, the recent zoning text amendment requires that there will be a variety of evergreens to avoid monocultural plantings that could be subject to future pest problems. Final development detailed plans have not yet been submitted, but if there's any phased development, it is recommended to do the mounding and landscaping first in the initial phase. The new community authority, it's abbreviated as NCA. Recently, the state passed a law that allows for NCAs to be established for new developments in townships. An NCA requires approval by the county commissioners, and they appoint members of the governing board. The developer also appoints equal members to the board, which makes decisions regarding fund distributions. The developer has agreed to designate township residents for their appointments to the board. The development agreement also ensures that funds will go back to the township for public use, not to the developer. The NCA will add 7 mills to the fees from new residents that will be designated for public use by the township. This is similar to a property tax, but it goes to the NCA then to the township. The revenue can be leveraged to borrow upfront funds to service public uses for the township. This is to ensure that the development helps to pay for the added costs of residential development such as infrastructure and community support services. We plan to work closely with the county to determine the most appropriate use of the revenue to best serve the southern part of the township. Third item is a 2-acre park, which they agreed to be funded by the developer and maintained, which will most likely happen through HOA fees. The amenities for the park are still to be determined. And the last item I'm summarizing here is the 4-acre land donation. It's to be near the Hoochard Road extension and will have road frontage. The exact site is still to be determined and is projected to be completed in the next 3 years. This land could potentially be a site of future fire station or community park or a community center. The eventual use will depend on availability of funding and priorities set by the Board of Trustees in collaboration with Union County. Thanks for your time, and any question or further discussion of the trustees on this?
No.
No.
Okay, at this time I'd like to open for public comments. We had at least one person signed up. David Morris, I believe, was first on the list here. You can come up, state your name and address.
Yeah, David Morris, Jimmy give you 7255 Kyle Road, Plain City, Ohio. I wanted to come in and just, I guess, explain and I guess get the truth out about some of the things that we went through on March 17th. So, and I was here during March 17th's meeting that we had, and I remember also attending a zoning meeting that actually denied some of the units per acre. The zoning committee said to keep it at 2, and they also wanted to keep the density the same, which is allowed 20%. So during that meeting on the 17th, one of the things that I heard was the sole justification from moving it to 2 to 3 was the comprehensive plan. Well, I have a comprehensive plan right here for the township, and I've read it 1,000 times, but it still doesn't tell me anywhere in here that it allows more than 2 houses per acre. There's nowhere in here to say that. And the reason I say that, unless I'm colorblind, but in the section that we're pertaining to is zoned as agricultural low density. And there's nowhere that it says that it should be more than 2 houses per acre. So the justification, the sole justification I heard for moving it to 2 to 3 was because of the comprehensive plan. So I don't know, unless you have a different comprehensive plan than I have, then I don't, unless I'm blind, I don't see that. So I don't know if you're allowed to talk about that or not, or maybe you signed some kind of a private agreement. I don't know, but I don't see there's anywhere in there to justify that, number one. And then number two, when we look at the density, they're saying, it should be at least 15%, we'll say, at 40 acres, which is 6. Well, they're saying they're going to make a park of 2 acres and then promise you 4 acres in the future, which anybody else, normally I assume you would never allow that, right? Because I think the zoning resolution, if I'm not mistaken, isn't just something you can pick and choose whatever you want to do with it. It's more a little solid, more than, let's say, the comprehensive plan. If you're going to use it for justification, then you can't also say it's a guide, right? So we can't say that the original zoning resolution is just a guide if we're not going to follow it, but it seems like the builders don't have to follow it. So, and if you think about the trustees are voted, right? You guys are voted in. The builders never voted for any of you because they don't live in our township. I've already asked them. But the actual residents do. Everybody who voted for you, and I'll have to admit, I'm guilty. I voted for all of you at one time. But I think maybe, looking at some of the things I've seen, maybe is a big mistake. So I just think it's important to tell the truth, and the truth is there's no justification for 3 houses, and I don't know where you can get it from. So, thank you.
Well said.
Yeah.
Tara, Councilman, you had written shred down earlier. Did you want to take another?
I think Linda was before me, but
I didn't sign up to speak, but I'd like to this.
I'll allow 3 minutes.
Thank you. Linda Chapman, 8343 McKittrick Road. I can see here now, under township commitments, township shall cooperate in good faith with SHREG and/or its assignees on all development proposals in sub-areas 1C, 2A, 2B, and 2D in current JTIT do zoning, et cetera, So now I see, I know what's happening. We changed it back from conditional on the original amendment for a data center and put it back to permitted, and now shall not be amended without SHREG and/or its assignees' approval. So what this tells me is that now that we've got it in place for the data centers to be permitted use in their area, which totally is favoritism, and now we've got a contract we're going to sign with them, we can't change the zoning amendment. I mean, that to me is just feels really, really icky. And I'm sorry, but if you signed NDAs and you can't speak to it, you serve us, not Schottenstein.
Yeah.
that's right.
Serious, right?
Very serious.
You can look at each other, but come on. Say something.
Tara, Councilman, would you like to comment, please?
Good evening, Tara Kunzelman, 9317 Brock Road. I second everything everybody said here. Not to exceed 3 dwelling units per acre. When we sat up here, and a lot of us here today sat on that steering committee. I can't speak for myself, but my husband did, and there are several other people. Like, what a waste of time, what a waste of money for our township to turn around and do this. Open space, I mean, how many acres is this? How many acres is this thing here? Because 2 acres, is that 40%? Isn't that the requirement in the township in the comprehensive plan? What is the percentage of open space for this 2 acres? Do we know?
There's a separate requirement in the IPD for that
Still
subject.
requires a 40%.
I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I can go get the zoning resolution.
Did they fall within the percentage? Is this 2 acres
Hold on.
within the percentage?
In a second, I'm trying to answer your question.
Okay.
The answer is they haven't applied for detailed development plan yet, so I can't tell you whether the site is compliant with that.
Oh, because as a resident, we applied for a development and we were denied, the only denial in this township as residents for a rezoning. And all we asked was to get to the detailed development plan for open space and buffering. And Barry, I'm directing this directly at you. Andrea, you weren't here. Joe, I'm very grateful for you. We voted for you, Barry, to stand up for the residents of this township. These people campaigned for you. They had your back. They were busting their butts. And you're telling me because it wasn't get to the detailed development plan, we couldn't get past the zoning as residents, 25-year residents. You voted us down. The only denial in the township ever. I'm sorry, but this is frustrating. I'm gonna flip to the next part. Land donation efforts? What is that? What is the land donation effort? Like that they're just gonna give you guys things like you scratch your back and I'll scratch yours, like quid pro quo sort of stuff? And then we're gonna make our best efforts to donate 4 acres? What does that mean? And within like 3 years, what is this? Again, you guys denied our development under 2 acres, 2 houses per acre, and you're standing behind closed doors and NDAs and you're not gonna disclose anything to us? Again, we elected you. You are here because you are elected to represent us, the residents. The residents. Throw out moratoriums for data centers, not clearly disclose things that you're changing in these revisions, as Linda just pointed out. It is so disappointing. It is so disappointing. And then last but not least, township commitments on all development proposals. All, again, carte blanche like these overlays. That's what we do for developers. No rezoning process, we just carte blanche approve everything. Well, I'm a resident and all I wanted was my development as this is being built up everywhere. And this is what we're getting? Thank you, Joe. Barry, you and I should probably have a side conversation. Thank you for your time.
Just to respond to one question, they are still required, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Stubbs, the 40%.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
They're still required to have that 40% open space, is my understanding.
There's a separate requirement for open space for that sub-area in the IPD district. It's not 40%, it's less.
15%.
Thank you, that sounds correct.
It's always different for the developers. Always different for the developers. It's disgusting.
Don't give you 2.
What time to overthrow this township trustee? It's ridiculous.
Comments? Response?
I've had enough. 26 years.
I don't want 3 minutes, but can I just ask something? We've had this 10 minutes. You guys have negotiated this behind closed doors for weeks. It's been tabled for weeks. You're gonna vote on it tonight. Like, let us have time to process this and have a community outreach on it and public comment on it at your next meeting before you vote on it. This is what I talked to you about at last meeting. You guys are silencing us, holding this shit out 10 minutes before you guys are gonna vote for it.
Yep.
That's ridiculous. That's unethical. It violates our Fair Meetings Acts. It's not right. You can absolutely discuss this behind closed doors for executive session, but at some point you have to make it public so we know what you're doing to us, because this isn't good. None of this is good. Maybe we'll get stuff. Like, you guys screwed up a quid pro quo. How'd you do that? It's, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Maybe they'll scratch your back, but you guys already scratched theirs.
Yeah.
You voted for everything they wanted.
Thank you.
Yep.
You ready to have the board discuss this? Are we closing the public comment
We have no
section?
more people signing up for
Okay.
public comment. Do you want to
So the
begin
developer had
discussion?
asked for six houses per acre, is that correct, Barry?
Initial request is for 6 units per acre.
I got you. I mean, a lot of work went into trying to make this development agreement as the best it could be, and what could be best for the township, long term. A lot of work went into it. If you want to put it on the next, meeting agenda to discuss further, I'd be okay with that. If you wanted to talk to the board about bringing it to a vote, if we make any, two parties have to sign this, so if we make any changes, we're gonna have to take that back to the other party, I would assume.
Well, there was one sentence about the approval. I did not see that previously.
Okay, so we probably aren't prepared to vote tonight because of, yeah, gotcha. So we're gonna table it or continue? Or you can decide about.
Well, it's
if you're
not a
gonna put it on
public
the-
hearing, so we will have to just table.
It's your choice.
I mean, just put it on the agenda next time if you're ready, That goes out ahead of time, so that'd be good, yeah.
Okay, that's what we'll do, and I will have some private discussions to address some of the concerns, of some of the citizens. Okay. Lost my agenda here.
I think street tree agreements, what I have there.
Street tree agreement, Jerome Village. Mr. Snowden, would you like to present this next item?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, other members of the board. I can't tell you how ecstatic I am to bring this street tree agreement before you. The board will recall that there have been several recent maintenance easements for street trees. Street trees are trees within the public right-of-way, generally speaking, between the sidewalk and the curb. They go into a lot of new developments, but they are the responsibility of the township to maintain. So in order to not spread that cost out to all of our residents, many of them do not benefit from the improvements that come with that new development, we have been entering into agreements with the developers, the HOAs, to provide long-term maintenance. That takes some of the burden off of our road superintendent, Mr. Graver, but there are some built-in safety things. He can always go and cut down a tree or trim it if it's a safety hazard, those sort of things. So the only difference between this one, which is with Jerome Village, is this one will not be recorded at the county recorder's office. That's due to the legal nature of the Jerome Village development, its size, the fact that Jerome Village Company is still acquiring land. What you see here was drafted by Ms. Huber and exchanged with counsel for Jerome Village Company, NRI. And so I would be happy to present this. It's nearly identical to the ones we've done, but for various technical legalistic reasons will not be recorded. It'll just live here in our road file. So with that, would just appreciate the board, or would just request the board make a motion to approve the agreement and authorize the township administrator to sign it. Happy to answer any questions about how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to move that we approve the maintenance agreement between Jerome Village Residential Property Owners Association and the Board of Trustees of Jerome Township, and authorize Mr. Stanley to sign the contract, or sign the agreement. Excuse me.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
Next, 11D was added to the agenda. Mr. Caldwell, Union County chip seal.
Yes, we got an email from Dave Huber Darby Township trustee indicating that they had also submitted a request for chip seal work to be done on their roads. One of the roads is Ketch Road, in which one half of the road is in Darby Township, the other half of the road is in
correct.
Jerome Township. So the full cost is $8,426.64. They were wanting to know if we were in agreement with sharing half of that cost with them, so it'd be $4,213.32. So I'm just asking for the board to make a motion to authorize them to proceed with that, and we will cover half the cost.
Brandon, you, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I so move.
Second?
Roll call?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
All right, we're going to move on to announcements, and then after that we'll have an executive session. To get updates on road projects in the township, please visit our website. To get updates on ODOT projects, including State Route 42 and Industrial Parkway, click the link on our website or visit the ODOT website, District 6. Hopefully they'll update it on a timely basis. The 2026 Jerome Township Community Car Show benefiting the Fallen 15, sponsored by the Weiler Collection, will be held Sunday, June 14, 2026 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. along the States Court just off the States Parkway. If you would like to receive notifications regarding the Board of Trustees meetings, please email the Township office at jerometownship@jerometownship.com. The Township is always accepting applications for positions on our zoning boards. Please visit the Jerome Township website to fill out an application. Any other announcements? If not, then I'd like to move to adjourn into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G1 for the purpose of considering the discipline of a public employee, and also Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G8 for the purpose of considering confidential information related to the marketing plan, specific business strategy, and trade secrets of an applicant for economic development assistance. It is to be provided or administered pursuant to sections 3735.65 to 3735.70 and section 5709.73 of the Ohio Revised Code. It involves public infrastructure improvements directly related to an economic development project. The executive session is necessary to protect the interests of the applicant or the possible investment of expenditures of public funds to be made in connection with the proposed economic development project. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
The time is 8:24. We're going to
executive session.
Second. Roll call?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Yes.
No action was taken as a result of the executive